This on your screens right now. I believe these protests are taking place in Delhi. Remember, he was called in for questioning in the Delhi excise policy. This is the case that is linked to a larger money laundering case. He did not appear for 4 previous ED summons: Jan 3rd, November 2nd, December 18th and December 21st. He's called all of them illegal. Like the Jharkhand Chief Minister, he's arguing that the BJP in the centre are using the ED to target their opposition. This comes on a day when the party is staging protests across the national capital. So the Aam Aadmi Party, as we speak, is staging protests over the results of the Chandigarh mayoral elections, which, remember, the BJP won. So the Aam Aadmi Party also having a very busy day. But this is the BJP, and we're going to show in just a second. We'll have reporters joining us. We'll also have BJP leaders joining us to bring us more context on this protest itself. As you can see over here, a high voltage protest taking place. And it's important to point out to you here that, as we said earlier, 2 different parties protesting in different parts of the Delhi capital. The BJP protesting that the Chief Minister has skipped his ED summons for the 5th time. Not entirely surprising, remember, because the Chief Minister has in the past too skipped his summons. This is the Delhi liquor excise policy case. This is a case that goes back a few years, when the Aam Aadmi Party had introduced a new liquor excise policy to the capital, and shortly after that, it rescinded the policy. Since then, you might remember, the Enforcement Directorate has been carrying out a larger investigation. They've called in several senior leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party for questioning. Former Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia in jail now, but called in for questioning in this and in other stories too. We'll go over right now to our colleague Arun Dhanta, who's with us. Arun, tell our audiences, the BJP obviously protesting, Arvind Kejriwal skipping his summons for the 5th time this morning. But tell our audiences more about A, where is the protest taking place, how large is the protest, and what do those placards say? Because we can't read them, Arun, from here in the studio.
Well, see, Toya, so there are 2 protests today. One is by Aam Aadmi Party, and in that protest we are given to understand that Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann are going to take part. And I am outside the Aam Aadmi Party's residence at this moment. You can see the crowd is slowly gathering, and in fact just a while back Delhi Minister Gopal Rai held a press conference where he said that their MLAs have been detained, or rather house arrest, by the Delhi police. They are not allowed to come out of their houses to reach the protest site, and in fact they are also alleging that their workers are not allowed to come to this venue to protest against BJP office. Of course, the security wise, I would ask my camera person to just pan camera towards that side and show the presence of the Delhi police and paramilitary forces. This is to stop the protesters to go towards the BJP's office. The distance, Toya, from this place where I'm standing, Aam Aadmi Party's office to BJP office is merely 200 meters. In fact, less than 200 meters. So police is very cautious of the fact that if there will be any untoward incident, if some of the protesters manage to cross over this barricading, they've ensured 2 or 3 layers of barricading beyond this, so they will not take any risk. And on that side you can see the protesters have already started raising slogans. We'll try to speak to some of the protesters here also, what they say about this protest. कहाँ से आए आप लोग?
हम आम आदमी पार्टी के सिपाही हैं।
अच्छा,
जैसे कि हमारे नेताओं को सबको नजरबंद करा जा रहा है, इतनी तानाशाही की हदें हो गई हैं कि घरों में जा के घुस के सबको बंद कर रहे हैं। क्या हम अपने खुद प्रदर्शन नहीं कर सकते? क्या भाजपा देख रहे हो आप प्रदर्शन कर रही है?
आप कह रहे हैं कि आपके लोगों को बंद कर दिया,
डिटेन करा जा रहा है, घरों में जाके डिटेन करा जा रहा है। हमारे जैसे लोग आना चाह रहे हैं, उन्हें आना नहीं दिया जा रहा, बसों को डिटेन करा जा रहा है। वो क्या तानाशाही की हद होगी, हद तानाशाही की होती है। जैसे कि आपने देखा है चंडीगढ़ में जो हुआ है कि साफ देखा जा रहा है कि उसमें लिखित में काटा जा रहा है मेयर के लिए, तब भी नहीं मानने। इतनी हद क्यों तानाशाही के लिए?
तो अभी क्या आपका पीसफुल मार्च प्रोटेस्ट होगा, या इसको बैरिकेडिंग क्रॉस करके आगे जाने की आपकी?
हमारा पीसफुल मार्च होगा, पीसफुल मार्च होगा हमारा।
अच्छा, कब तक अरविंद केजरीवाल और भगवंत मान आने वाले?
बस जल्दी आने वाले हैं।
अच्छा, आप कहाँ से आए?
आदर्श नगर से आए हैं जी, दिल्ली से ही।
क्या करने आए हैं?
सर इनके साथ आए हैं जी, आम आदमी के सपोर्ट में आए हैं जी।
आम आदमी के सपोर्ट में
हाँ जी।
कैसे सपोर्ट करेंगे?
सर जो भी करेंगे जी करेंगे।
आप बताइए, आपने तो टोपी भी पहनी हुई है।
आम आदमी के सिपाही हैं।
अच्छा, क्या अभी आपके गोपाल राय को हमने सुना कि काफी सारे विधायक आप कह रहे हैं कि आपके हाउस अरेस्ट के हैं।
हाँ जी।
तो किस तरह से प्रोटेस्ट करेंगे और क्या आप लोग चाहते हैं? हुआ क्या है, पूरा मामला क्या है जिसको लेकर आप
टीम आया, हमारे अध्यक्ष साहब आए हैं, पंकज गुप्ता जी जो निगम पार्षद है संगम विहार से, वो आए हुए हैं। बाकी उनकी टीम आई हुई है, पूरे उनके सिपाही आए हुए हैं। आगे बढ़ेंगे और कोशिश करेंगे जितने भी कर सकते हैं हमने डिटेन कर, और बाकी डिटेन तो कर ही रही है ऑलरेडी हमें।
You heard these protesters here, Toya. They are saying that their workers, their MLAs have been put under house arrest. They are not allowed to come here to protest, but they are also saying that this will be a silent protest, peaceful protest, which means that they will not try to cross these barricadings as we had seen even in the earlier protests as well. That what happens that protesters start their march from this location and then head towards the BJP office, but they used to be stopped by the Delhi police here. But today they are saying that on this stage, their leaders will be sitting on that stage, and from there, of course, they will be giving those speeches. They will be addressing the Karyakartas. They will not try to cross the barricading. That's something which we have gotten to know as of now. But we'll have to see as and when Arvind Kejriwal and Bhagwat Mann arrive here, and then how they address, what they say to these protesters, these workers of Aam Aadmi Party. But one point which they are saying that the elections that happened in Chandigarh of Municipal Corporation in which all three posts had gone to BJP was something which was against the democratic values of the country. They are calling it a cheating by Bharatiya Janata Party, and therefore they have planned this protest here to Gherao Bharatiya Janata Party's headquarters.
Okay, Arun, just stay with us. Let's go over to our colleague Anshul. Anshul is also with my colleague Arun outside the Aam Aadmi Party protests in particular. Anshul, we're actually going to come over to you to ask you about the ED and the Chief Minister skipping the summons. This is a question we're seeing our audience members ask a lot online. What happens now? Is it possible he could get arrested? And if he were to get anticipatory bail in front of a court, what could take place now? This is obviously a big question since Hemant Soren from Jharkhand has just gotten arrested. Can you tell our audiences what the next few steps could be? How long can you evade the ED in this way?
So yes, if you see what is happening at this point in time and the manner in which Arvind Kejriwal has been going ahead and skipping the summons that are being given to him by the Enforcement Directorate, this is actually making the case of Enforcement Directorate even stronger, because remember there is also the Supreme Court had weighed in during the bail application while it was being heard of the former Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. The Supreme Court had given a time of 3 months to the Enforcement Directorate to complete the entire investigation impending Manish Sisodia's involvement. But since Arvind Kejriwal is not cooperating with the summons, it is actually giving the Enforcement Directorate a reason that to in fact go ahead and oppose the bail of Manish Sisodia in front of the highest court of the country, and that is something that is eventually proving to be tough for the former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister. Now, if you talk about the summons, we have seen that how Hemant Soren had skipped 10 summons before the Enforcement Directorate decided to went ahead and arrest him, and the arresting also happened after the kind of recoveries that happened at his residence out here in the national capital. In fact, in the remand note, the Enforcement Directorate has very clearly stated that 36 lakh rupees were in fact taken from his home out here in the national capital. Also, incriminating documents pertaining to this entire case were also found at his residence, and hence the Enforcement Directorate wanted to go ahead and investigate him and ask questions to him. But yes, what happened in that investigation, what sources have told us at this point is that he was not able to answer the questions in the right manner, and hence the Enforcement Directorate decided to go ahead and arrest him. But this time around, Arvind Kejriwal has still not gone ahead and presented himself in front of the Enforcement Directorate. What sources are telling us is that more summons could be issued to him. The Enforcement Directorate is constantly going to ask him to come and join into the investigation, because remember, as it was in the case of Hemant Soren, Arvind Kejriwal is also not an accused in this entire matter till now. There are statements that have been given by the people who have been taken into custody. There are statements that have in fact been recorded by the Enforcement Directorate, in which it has very clearly been stated that how Arvind Kejriwal knew when this entire policy was being framed, and how he was the person who was giving instructions as to how the